The lead story here says ahead of 2027, future of opposition uncertain as politicians begin realignment. And power sector crisis, Genco's unpaid invoices hit 1.4 trillion naira amid 12th grid collapse. And concerns as Nigeria incurs $400 million war risk insurance premium. And Tinubu will seek re-election. Opposition can't stop him, says Boala. And governors meet in Abuja, keep silent on tax reform bills and others. How electricity consumers can get reprieve for injustice and complaints. And Body Judge urges Tinubu to reduce fuel price to 300 naira per litre for Christmas. And tax reform will destroy public tertiary institution. Police arrest 2 teenagers with 25 stolen phones in Borno. Fubara vows not to overburden residents with taxes. Police nab 4 for supplying security agencies uniform to bandit. ECOWAS pledges to reintegrate Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Political stability, security top agenda at ECOWAS meeting. FAN reopens Abuja airport runway after incident. And still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, NSCDC parade suspect over visa racketeering fraud, others in Abuja. And North should forget about 2027 presidency. South must complete 8 years, says Afegbua. Okay. FG partners UNODC to theme drug abuse and others. And boat mishap, federal government has urged to phase out wooden boat and forced transport code. Center sensitizes Lagos community on criminal justice law. Sosoliso plane crash. Uguechi marks 19 years of survival, dedicates lives to classmates. And Governor Ba Honorable Musawa declare Enugu Christmas Village open. Government outlaws ICRC non-compliant PPP scheme. Federal government to borrow $500 million from World Bank for Hope Project. And Apapa Port records 20,000 trucks in November. And so many other stories that you can find on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Yes, we move on to the Punch newspaper. 2.7 trillion naira debt. Nigerians face blackout as gas producers cut supply to Gencos. Nigeria, Germany to deepen ties as Tinubu hosts German president. Bank workers blame CBN as cash shortage worsens. Gateway Airport NCAA fault Ogun's claim of approval. And revenue mobilization, President Tinubu panel differ on VAT sharing formula. Defamation, Abuja Oyo courts bar further sale of Farotimi's book. New study rates vaccine in malaria treatment. We move on from the Punch newspaper to the Tribune. Court restrains further sale, publication of Farotimi's book. Dangote Refinery announced first export of PMS to Cameroon. Nigeria retains top spot as Africa's biggest oil producer. And we will handle Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso's ECOWAS return with caution. This is according to President Tinubu. And still talking about the presidency to opposition leaders, don't distract Tinubu with politics of 2027. All right, we move on to the Nation newspaper now, and how funds saved from subsidy removal is being spent by government. Tax reform, Oyedele counters revenue mobilization on VAT claim. POS operators raise charges, bank ration cash. Infrastructure development tops Benue 550 billion naira 2025 budget estimate. Affair Babalola 6, federal government's nod for FTZ at Abuad Industrial Park. And NFF holds Match Commissioners Seminar in Kaduna. Daily Trust newspaper is next now, and reps probe customs over smuggling brutality at borders. Media stakeholders harp on press freedom, principled journalism. 72.1 million people displaced globally in half year. That's in 2024. Wike says criminal will not have breathing space during Yalutide. And Wike directs contractors to employ locals. Adamawa Assembly sacks Lamido as chairman, Council of Chiefs, creates more emirates. Our reforms are working, President Tinubu. And no magical solution to steady power supply, President Tinubu again. And federal government to develop national policy on bullying. Okay. We move on to leadership newspaper now. Disquiet in NCAA over appointments of substantive DG. And still staying with leadership, customs impounds 466,000 liters of petroleum products in 7 months. Builders Council seeks liberal mortgage policy for youth. This day newspaper is next now, and let's with the story. For denigrating Nigeria, you can drop Kemi from your name, Shettima tells Badenoch. National power grid collapses again 12th time this year. And tax reform bills will end states' LG's frivolous spendings. That's according to the presidential panel. House probes customs alleged complicity in smuggling. How ICPC blocked diversion of 189 billion naira unspent personnel costs by MDAs. And President Tinubu told his German counterpart, our business doors are open, our reforms working very well. We move on to the Vanguard newspaper. Varsity education in tatters, lecturers can't fuel cars, sleep in offices to cut costs. And still talking about the tax reform bills, over 50 nuisance taxes will be scrapped, according to the federal government. And the United States Embassy issues new visa directive for Nigerian applicants. Dangote refinery export PMS to Cameroon. As Pengasons raises alarm over spike in expatriate quota abuses. Emirates Emirship Teso, no going back on installation of Bichi district head. ECOWAS open to Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso's return, Tinubu tells German president. And 2027 polls, PDP will overcome internal crisis, but the judge. And from that to River State, if I am an evil person, I won't commission any project in Wike's local government area. That's Governor Fubara. And 5 escape unhurt as planes skis off Abuja runway airport shut. The airport has been reopened now. That's the runway. Nigerian who wrote WAEC 7 times bags distinction from London school. NYSC DG leads search for missing corps member in River State. Reps pass bill mandating compulsory training for convicted persons. All right, we move on to the Sun newspaper. Akpebio declares Akpebolo's seat vacant. And 2027, Tinubu will contest, will win presidency. SEDC, that's APC reps, writes Tinubu over deputy speaker's imposition of personal staff into commission. 2027, North shouldn't bother for presidency of Afegbua. And tax reform, what presidency should do to douse tension, Sonny, ex-ACF General Secretary. All right, we move on to penpushing.com for some great news coming from this medium. And it leads with the sports story. The Federation of International Football Association, that's FIFA, confirms Saudi Arabia as 2034 World Cup host. And for sport lovers, there you go, the confirmation. And still staying with penpushing.com, out-of-school children reduced to 700,000 in Borno State, says Governor. And the local government chairman killed in auto crash. If you want details, penpushing.com is the place to go. And Ogun State government to sign $10 million investment on oil palm byproduct. So those are the headlines from across the papers. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, it's really a loaded package, and our in-house analyst will help us do justice to it. It's still newspaper review on Citizen 93.7 FM. Please don't go away. The program returns in a moment.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. Our station seeks to broadcast a broad mix of culture and views with priority given to development programming to enable residents share ideas of diverse culture together through communication. Enjoy listening to 93.7 Citizen FM. We are more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
The issues. Everybody respected that because it was coming from the president.
Purely behind it, the way the people took the battle in their hands.
Some civil servants retire without a roof of ISH.
The cause.
If we cannot trust you, then you cannot take the ticket of this country. Hussein cannot be divulged from those who cause the crisis. Honestly.
The passion.
You must have national spread. So where is it?
Why are you so concerned about that? He said money was...
I never...
No.
The platform is always the same.
Insight on Citizen FM 93.7.
The source is constant.
My name is Lawrence Umoite.
There is always an opportunity.
Tomorrow, Insight returns with another interesting...
Insight with Lawrence Umoite on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. Be part of the experience.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. This still newspaper review on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja. And welcome to the second half of the show, and where we look at some of the stories in details. And as usual, our in-house analyst is here, Mr. Salman Salami. Good morning, Mr. Salami.
Very good morning to you, the one and only presenter that I know that does his job well.
All right, Mr. Salman is the Chief Operating Officer, Citizen 93.7 FM, and as usual, is going to help us make sense of some of the very interesting stories lined up for in-depth analysis this morning. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Salami.
It's a pleasure being here.
And the phone lines are open. You can join the conversation immediately. You can call us on 0903 22 29797. That's 0903 22 29797. You can also call us on 0818 22 205 or 0818 22 206. And don't forget that you can also send us a WhatsApp message on any of the numbers. All right, Mrs. Salami, we'll start off with the Punch newspaper. Nigeria, Germany to deepen ties as Tinubu hosts its German counterpart. And the story has it that President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday assured German businesses of Nigeria's readiness to fully implement existing pacts to ease investment in renewable energy, youth skill development, and industrial growth. Speaking during the visit of the German president, President Tinubu highlighted ongoing reforms aimed at fostering a business-friendly environment and attracting foreign investment. These include import duty waivers for machinery, decentralization of power generation, and active foreign exchange reforms. Salami.
Well, I want to congratulate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for raising the bar and for searching for investors with a view to making our economy viable again. From Brazil to France and now Germany, you can see that Mr. President is not just sitting idly. He's working around the clock to ensure that the Nigerian economy returns to what it used to be, and that Nigeria takes its own or its proper seat in the Committee of Nations. It doesn't come easy. And the joy and the important thing is this: he is preaching the gospel of conducive environment for doing business, a business-friendly environment. And I keep on saying it, that you must blow your trumpet. If you do not, others are busy blowing theirs. So you must blow your own. That is why Mr. President is shopping for investors in such a way that industrialization will become the order of the day in the country and employment will follow. This is the way to go. We should not, as a people, frustrate Mr. President. What do I mean? We should not demarket the country because we have a stake in it too. Why Mr. President is doing his own? Let the governors to do their own. Let the local government not be left out. If all hands are on deck as regards security, because nothing can thrive in the absence of a secured environment. No sane investor will bring his money in if security is not assured or guaranteed. That is why I am saying that it's multifaceted and every one of us has a role to play. At the end of the day, we'll heave a sigh of relief.
Exactly, and Mr. Salami, we shouldn't shame the country, and our leaders also should also put in place at least basic minimum things to ensure that when the much sought after foreign investors eventually come, they will not regret it. A simple thing as the ease of business, which has been making steady progress, but a simple thing as what our dear friend the Festus Keyamo is doing in the aviation sector, cleaning up the airports. Because sometimes you get so embarrassed, you're traveling in, you're coming in, and virtually all the agencies of Nigeria, you find them at the airport virtually begging for money, for a gift, and so many other things, becoming nuisances in different aspects. And we are really, really impressed by what the aviation minister is doing in that sector. And even in area of goods and services, how efficient are we? How are we in the power sector? These are little things that will impress investors who would decide. Because, Mr. Salami, in this day and age, an investor does not physically have to come to Nigeria to know what is happening. They have their diplomats in the country, there is the media in the country. So if these certain things are not in place, a lot of people, even the education sector, when you want people to come in with their family and start businesses there, one of the things they are going to ask is, how is the education sector? Will I have where my kids will go to school undisturbed? How is the health facility? And so many other things. So it's everything is intertwined.
Honestly, you see, I've been saying it that there is a need for us to ensure that we do the right thing at the right time. And it is intertwined. Whoever is coming to the country doesn't need to be here to get information. At the press of the button, he could get whatever information he needs. That is the more reason why we should not demarket the country. That is the more reason why even we, the purveyors of news, should be careful and put the country first. It's not everything that the American journalists write. So are you now telling me that terrible things don't happen?
All you need to do is look at the crime rate in New York, for example. Every day, check it out.
Every second, every minute, a crime is being committed in the US, yet it's God's own
country.
That is why I am saying that all of us have a lot of work to do. There are good things happening in this country. Just yesterday, somebody returned $40 million. That one will not make a front page. Lawrence, I think even we journalists need to have a conversation around patriotism.
Exactly. All right, Mr. Salami, still talking about President Tinubu and still talking about his meeting with the German president. Something else also came up, and that was the security in the ECOWAS sub-region. He also spoke about the members who left Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. So the president said, we'll handle Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso's ECOWAS return with caution. The president said the interests and welfare of the citizens in Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger remain priorities for leaders of ECOWAS, assuring that wisdom and diplomacy will make the difference in reintegrating the countries into the Commission. Salam.
Wisdom and diplomacy. Lawrence, you see, I am happy to be a Nigerian. Very, very happy to be a Nigerian. To start with, whether we like it or not, it is clear that there is somebody in charge. There is somebody is in charge who is ready to take full responsibility for what is going on. I keep on saying it. The most important thing is this. Whenever something happens, somebody must be bold enough to say, yes, I accept full responsibility. Passing box had always been the order of the day. In fact, here we were when we had a president who would tell you that he didn't even know that so happened. So shameful. But here is a president who is fully aware and fully in charge of what is going on in this country. And let us thank God that he knows that the whole world is a global village. And I've been saying it that no small country can play any big role in the world affairs. As a sub-region, the ECOWAS is very, very key to the growth and prosperity of this our region.
And even the whole continent.
Of the whole continent of Africa. West Africa is very important. And we know that we are not alone in this, because you cannot be okay when your neighbor is not okay.
At all.
That is why I salute the courage and the wisdom and the progressive action being taken by Mr. President on this issue of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. He said he will use wisdom and diplomacy. No other way. That is the right way to go.
All right, Mr. Salami, before we leave the president alone and look at other stories, let's check this out. How funds saved from subsidy removal is being spent by government. This is Mr. President speaking, and it's on the front page of the Nation newspaper. According to the story, funds saved from the stoppage of subsidy payments are being used to execute high-impact projects and schemes by the Tinubu administration. Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris said the project and schemes, according to Idris, are student loan, physical and digital infrastructure, low-cost consumer credit, agricultural production, and targeted social investment. He spoke at the 2024 annual conference of the International Press Institute with the theme Democracy, Media Freedom, and Imperative of Protecting the Nigerian Civil Space. Idris also shed light on the proposed tax reforms, media freedom, and protection of Nigeria's civil space, energy transition, and judiciary being championed by President Bola Tinubu.
You see, what is going on is quite good, because we need information. Information is very key. When you know what your government is doing, it is very easy for you now to either key in or criticize. At least you have information. When you don't know exactly what they are doing, it becomes pretty difficult for you to take a position. The Honorable Minister of Information should be lauded for doing the right thing. But it's more than that. There is the need to say all these things in the language people understand.
And be consistent.
With it.
Information.
I think the NOA should join the Ministry of Information in aggressive information management with a view to ensuring that Nigerians are carried along. The market women should know why they are going through what they are going through. They should be able to say, yes, the money gotten from the removal of subsidy is being spent on so. Not only that, they should see that thing. They should see measurable improvement in their lives. And this is when they will now own the government. It must be participatory. I'm talking of what we term citizen participation. The citizens should be proud of their government, and they can only be proud of their government if they have information and they can see this thing with their korokoro eyes. It is not enough to say that the money gotten from the subsidy removal and the floating of the naira, and indeed from all the reforms, are being judiciously spent. It should be visible to the blind
and audible to the deaf,
and perhaps tangible to the paralytic.
All right, you can still join the conversation. The phone lines are still open. Call us on 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205 or 0818 2222206. Mr. Salami, let's move on to the Punch newspaper, and this story trended a lot yesterday, and that's the power sector. 2.7 trillion naira debt. Nigerians face blackout as gas producers cut supply to Gencos. Wholesale gas producing companies have abruptly stopped the supply of natural gas to power generating companies for electricity production over the non-payment of debts accrued from previous supplies. The Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Power Generation Company, Dr. Joy Ogaji, disclosed the latest development in an exclusive interview with the Punch newspaper, stressing that the gas-producing company have formally notified all Gencos of the suspension of natural gas supply. The gas supply was halted after the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority reportedly instructed gas producers to suspend the delivery of natural gas to indebted Gencos until further notice, citing the escalating debt. Salam.
Lawrence, I think we need to tell the government to get serious about this power sector and the need for incessant or seamless supply of energy. Why am I saying this? It is now the issue of natural gas. You will remember that we were flaring this gas at a time. So it has become so essential commodity now that they are owing them now. That it has gotten to a level where you have to stop gas supply. Lawrence, the very gas that we were flaring, are you aware that there was a time that we were flaring the gas in such a way that, in fact, so it has now become so economical, it is so needed, it is now so sought after that the Gencos are owing them, and it has gotten to a level where the upstream and the downstream regulators are now saying stop the supply to the Gencos, and we know the consequence. Darkness. Somebody is playing pranks. Somebody is not doing his work, or is doing it to suit himself. In all this, where is the interest of the common man? In all this, where is the interest of the downtrodden masses, realizing that energy is very key? For whatever we do, it has what I call multiplier effect. I think there must be consequence. Lawrence,
all right.
There must be consequence.
All right, still talking about this situation. There is a story from the president. No magical solution to steady power supply. That's what the president is saying. President Bola Tinubu has urged Nigerians not to expect a magical response to the prevailing electricity challenges in the country, as the existing power infrastructure has been on ground for decades. Speaking during the visit of the German president, Tinubu highlighted ongoing reforms aimed at fostering a business-friendly environment and attracting foreign investment.
Mr. President is not a magician, we know. But what we are asking the government to do is not magical. It doesn't take magic to give us light and energy. Yes, we know that over the years, quite many of the equipments had gotten bad. But enough of stories. In actual fact, Mr. President was elected to do the work. If it were going on very well, I wouldn't know whether we would have voted another party. Yes, there were problems. Mr. President is voted in to solve and fix the problems, not to complain too much about the problems. We appreciate, we acknowledge that there are problems before he came in, but then the issue is no more I made problem is no more an excuse. It will be assessed and it will be judged by the number of problems he solved, not the quantum of the problem. I am sure the president is not overwhelmed.
All right, it's still newspaper review on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja, and you can call us on 0903-2229-797. You can also call us on 0818-2222-205 or 0818-2222-206. And let's move on to some real politics now. Mrs. Salame, ahead of 2027, future of opposition uncertain as politicians begin realignment. And the story has it that the season of mass defection from one party to another is fast heating up, with lawmakers, especially from the opposition party, already testing the waters. The cross-carpeting exercise, however, has far-reaching implications on the survival of opposition parties, rule of law, and the laws of the land. To date, no fewer than 51 lawmakers at both the federal and state levels have decamped from Labour Party, New Nigeria People's Party, and the All Progressive Grand Alliance into either the ruling All Progressives Congress or the People's Democratic Party. And earlier in July 24, the lawmaker representing Imo senatorial districts dumped the Labour Party, and so on and so on. The exodus started in March this year with 6 members of the Enugu State House of Assembly defecting to the PDP. And Mrs. Salame, effectively, politicking is kicked off.
Well, you have not even seen anything. By May 29, 2025, that will, as I know, been a crack political reporter of over 40 years. There is going to be what I call alignment and realignment of political forces. And it is normal in politics. Politicians are a different kind of species. That what is important to politicians is how can I win this election? It is we the people who should let them know that winning an election is not the end. It's a means to an end. That winning election is an opportunity for you to impact lives and deliver the bountiful dividends of democracy to the people. But then, like I told you, that politicians are living in droves, one party to another, is understandable. I remember the later the late classmate of President Obasanjo, I don't want to mention the name, who said we call so to come and eat. Quite some politicians do not really understand why they are in politics, or they have given it a wrong definition. Why many of them think that winning an election and being there means an avenue to eat. No, it's an opportunity for you to serve the people. It is an opportunity which is very rare in life, given to you by the Creator to impact lives. It is much more than using your personal money to help people. If you do, it is good, but how many people can you touch? Or how many lives can you touch with your own personal money? But when you are in government, it gives you the opportunity to translate all those things you have in mind, positive things, speaking, into realities. Because government is so vast in such a manner that with the resources available at the disposal of the government, you can touch lives. You can change destinies. You can write your name in gold. You can imprint your name on the sands of time. That is the essence. Realizing, it takes a deep person. It takes someone who is deep to understand what we are saying. Because at the end of the day, serving others is far more beneficial and rewarding than personal aggrandizement. I leave it at that.
All right. Mr. Salami, whether we like it or not, the truth of this is the truth of the matter is that politics never stopped. In fact, even after the election, after the swearing in of the president, politics never stopped. It will never stop. That's the way it is in Nigeria. It might not be on the front burner, it might not be official, but there's always been politicking. And politicians know how to stoke the system. They know how to light the fire. They know how to test waters. They know how to drop one bombshell or another and see the reaction. And they know how to spin stories around and see how it stays on the front burner for several weeks or months to come. And this one is just a case in point. All of a sudden, we start hearing that a certain part of the country should not conduct a contest election, certain people should not contest election. We get the replies that you shouldn't do this and that. These are issues, and just to buttress that, there's this reaction from the presidency. 2027, Tinubu will contest, will win. That's from the presidency. Speculations over the possibility of President Bola Tinubu recontesting in the 2027 presidential election have been laid to rest following the confirmation by the presidency that he will not only contest but win the poll. Special Advisor, Public Communication and Media, Daniel Buala, who spoke to newsmen at the headquarters of the APC, also ruled out the possibility of the Ghana incident where the opposition won the 2027 election in Nigeria. Mr. Salami, the way our colleagues in the media make it look as if there was a doubt in the first place when you say that the speculation over the possibility of the president contesting have been laid to rest. Was there ever a time that it was in doubt?
Well, you see, I've been saying it that we minders of other people's business have to have what I call a masterful command of English, because we communicate in English. And apart from that, we must be very much at home with the fine rubrics of our profession. If you are not grounded in the profession, to educate, you too must be educated first. You understand what I'm saying? It is not until you are educated that you can educate. And it's a specialized area, political reporting. It's a very specialized areas, and you must be at home with the nuances of political reporting. Even a rookie political reporter knows that Mr. President will contest. Lawrence, it's apolitical for Mr. President himself to come out and tell you that I'm contesting. Is he has INEC blown the whistle? And he has a job he's doing anyway.
Exactly.
At the moment, he has been given a mandate for 4 years. It's not yet 2 years. And whether you like it or not, life and living is politics. At whatever level is the question you ask. Politics and living are inseparable.
As long as there are human beings involved.
What even in your house,
your family setting,
at that setting, you play politics at that level. So I have said it that there is going to be alignment and realignment of political forces over the days. That's what we are seeing. And politicians, the way they are wired, think about themselves first. And this is unfortunate, even though it's natural. But then the question is this: how do you want to be remembered? Baba Awolowo had died decades ago. People still remember him. Sardauna Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, died over 40 or 50 years ago. People still remember them. Okpara had died long before many people, quite many of these Gen Zs were born. They still remember him. Ditto Nnamdi Azikiwe, ditto Aminu Kanu. What we are saying is this: a legacy is more important than the primordial accumulation of ill wealth. I won't call it wealth. Ill wealth. If you want to be remembered, you must invest in the people. You must impact the lives of people. That is how to leave a legacy. When you live for others and not for yourself. But it takes a God-fearing man to do all this.
Well, Mr. Salam, I'm glad that you landed there, because when you talk about creating living impact and creating impact in people's lives, one of the people I know who create everlasting impact on people's lives are teachers at whatever level, from the primary school to secondary school to the universities. In those days, teachers were even more respected than public officers. In the local setting, if the local teacher or the headmaster is around, is sought after by people who want to learn one or two things. So that brings us to this story that I see here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. It says, varsity education in tatters, lecturers can't fuel cars, sleep in offices to cut costs. And the crippling effects of the downturn in the nation's economy, coupled with the fallout from the policies, have not spared any sector. Consequently, university teachers are now groaning under the yoke of unfavorable economic conditions. Checks by Vanguard from across the country showed that to stay afloat, university teachers have cut down on a lot of things to save costs. And to save transport costs, some now park their cars at home and commute to work in public transport. Some even sleep in their offices so as to reduce the cost of taking public transport to their offices multiple times a week, while others have abandoned postgraduate programs, especially those trying to get doctorate degrees due to financial constraints. Mr. Salam.
So sorry about this. Lawrence, I want to paint a picture. What is that picture? The picture of what to expect in future. The whole world is now knowledge driven. And to make impact in world affairs, we must be digital and ICT savvy. If this is the position of what is going on in the university, then I need to be more cautiously optimistic about the future of Nigeria. Knowledge is key. It is where we prioritize knowledge, or when we prioritize knowledge, that we can say, not even with certainty, that there is future, that there is hope, there is the likelihood of seeing light at the end of the tunnel. A situation whereby university teachers could not fuel their cars, a situation whereby a lecturer will carry jerry can looking for fuel, a situation whereby a lecturer could not for journals could not send money for journals, a situation whereby the books they have were the ones published in the 90s, realizing that knowledge is dynamic. Knowledge across to Bokulo. Honestly, if this is the picture of what is going on in the ivory towers, I'm afraid there is the need for us to have a rethink of what our education system should be. Apart from the fact that Mr. President is very much concerned about education and knowledge as such today, because technological knowledge is where the whole world is going, especially ICT, digitalization. The whole world is a global village, Lawrence, and at the press of a button, you could know what is going on. If those who are to impact the knowledge are not stable economically, emotionally, and they are disturbed by the what I call things that they should take for granted. There's what we call the irreducible minimum. If they have not gratified that, Lawrence, it is bleak.
All right, Mr. Salami, I think this is an appropriate place to end the show. Thank you so much, as usual, for your incisive analysis on the show this morning. Thank you so much, Mr. Salman Salami.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's a package for the show this morning. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's another time. Let's make it a date. My name is Lawrence Umoite. Enjoy the rest of your day.